VocalEye Almost Live Zoom, Disability Tour Bus, hosted by Amy Amantea, with special guest Rena Cohen.
A big welcome to you all to this Vocal Almost Live event. My name is Amy Amantea. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Associate Director here at VocalEye. I'm your host for these Almost Live events, and I'm a member of the blind community. And I probably say this every time, but I'm a proud member of this community. It's really been a delight for me to get to know folks in this space, both folks who live here locally in Metro Vancouver and abroad. You make my Wednesday night so much better, my life so much richer. I can't thank you enough for that. So a big thank you to you all for supporting VocalEye, for supporting me in this spot, for the friendships that we've gained together over these years. I can't believe this is the fifth season back in this almost live space. So folks have sent testimonials, which is great. Keep those coming in if this program is of value to you all, because that's how we get funding. You can make donations. We always have a donation button in the chat or through our website. If you happen to be watching our YouTube channel tonight, you can like and subscribe, and you can just get in touch with us and find out what we're doing. We want to work with everybody, so vocaleye.ca is where you can find us. VocalEye is broadcasting to all from the traditional and unceded or stolen territories of the Coast Salish peoples, in particular the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. Now, as we're approaching National Truth and Reconciliation Day, which happens to be October the 30th, I'm reflecting on my place on this earth, on this land. I'm exploring more Indigenous art forms. I'm trying to make that a regular part of what I do as a human on these lands. I've been listening to a radio play in podcast format. I've been listening to it on Apple Plus. And it's one that I thought that folks might be interested in. It's called 87 Unheard. 87 Unheard, a story. And here's what it's about. The Musqueam people have a word that means, quote, things that are hidden. The word is used to describe sacred objects, often ceremonial, that are thought to possess supernatural powers. These objects are not simply art or functional things. They embody stories and histories, the threads that tie the past to the present to the future. Because they are sacred, they are not displayed in the open, reminding us that not everything is meant to be seen or heard. Unheard is about survivors' stories of suicide, depression, fire, residential schools that are often not told. So you can tell that there's probably some content warning going into listening to that, but it's true stories from Indigenous folks who want their stories to be heard. And I'm just sort of in the beginning 2/3 of this and finding it really interesting and how it ties to these sort of supernatural objects. So if you're interested, that's available on Apple Plus. Welcome to Wednesday, September the 25th, 2024. Tonight, we're proud to offer you our 159th episode, 159. This one's entitled Disability Tour Bus. And without further ado, I get to just invite our guests in because I need a sip of water. So here we go. Welcome into the space, our special guest tonight, which is Rena Cohen, co-writer and director of Disability Tour Bus. And I should also just say a friend of mine, a friend of VocalEye's. So Rena, how are you this evening?
You know, I'm just getting over COVID, so I'm doing okay, but I'm really, really glad to be here and to be marking your 159th episode with Disability Tour Bus. I've been a longtime colleague of staff's and a longtime supporter of VocalEye and a dear old friend of Amy's. And I was listening into some of your chat earlier, and what a sweet, lovely group. I'm delighted to be here with you. Thank you.
This is we've built community in this space, not only, of course, as a community at large, but this, Almost Live came out of the pandemic where we all needed community, really, really badly, I suppose. And then we didn't want to let go of this platform. So here we are today. So it's nice. It's nice to have a space where we can gather and do accessible art forms in a shared space. Not everybody has accessible art in their communities. Go figure, right? The world is not perfect. But we've done something that's accessible to the blind and partially sighted community. So Rena, why do you want to introduce us to what Disability Tour Bus is?
Story. Okay, well, Disability Tour Bus is an audio play that's part guided tour Vancouver, part conflict between somebody who has a more woke perspective, a younger person with that perspective, and an older person with more of a traditionalist perspective. And into that, Amy and I threw in a love story because we like happy endings.
Because we like happy endings. I love that. I love that. I know we're going to do
Spoiler
a
alert, spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. We're going to do a Q&A after we listen to this together, and we'll talk about process and all those kinds of things, and um, give our audience a chance to ask questions or share comments or things that resonated or maybe things that didn't. Like, that's totally fair too, right? Um, I'm curious about when we listen to this together. I've been asked oftentimes after people have listened to this what it is that we want people to take away from this. And I know what my answer is. What is your answer as we go into listening to this together?
I want people, first of all, to be entertained, just
Hmm.
to have, to be drawn into a story, to lose yourself in a story, to care about the characters and to care about the outcomes and to have some fun, have a few laughs, and maybe be annoyed by some of the characters, just to be drawn into the story.
Yeah.
I think if there's a message, and it feels premature to talk about a message before anybody's listened to the story, but that we benefit when we listen to each other.
Yeah, that's
We
good.
all have something to learn from different perspectives. And yeah, that the more we listen, the better we become as human beings.
Hmm. Hmm. I'll share with you when we get to our Q&A some of the very specific things that I've been asked about. Well, this is what I got. Was I right? This is what
I
I
mean,
took away. Was I right? And I was like, there's no
whatever
real
you
right or
whatever you
wrong.
take away, whenever anybody takes away, there is no right and wrong. But there are some other specific messages that has to do with accessibility around Vancouver, which purports to be a very accessible city, and yet we've identified certain problems that I think we explore in a way that isn't too polemical in the script. I hope that we're not that, smacking you on the heads with a wet fish with a lesson. That's the last thing that we want to do. But we want to just reveal some of the challenges in a way that's accessible and also entertaining.
Yeah. And then take us back. You don't have to go too deep into this. We'll explore this again in the Q&A, but just what was the very impetus, the root, the origin story of this particular content?
Well, you were part of the origin
I
story.
know, but you're the special guest, so I want to hear it from you.
So, I mean, well, when I was for 11 years, I was the managing artistic director of Realwheels Theatre, which is a theater company with a mandate around disability. And one of the things that I had the great pleasure of expanding was our community projects, our what were known as Wheel Voices projects. And we would have people arriving from the community at our rehearsal hall, and they would be often regaling everyone else about their experiences getting to the rehearsal hall or what it was like leaving the rehearsal hall and getting home from the previous rehearsal. And the stories were often hilariously funny, and they were also horrifying. So it was that kind of, opposite that really was the initial catalyst for the story. There was also an interview on CBC. Some of you may know Arnold Chung, who runs Spectrum Mobility, which helps company to become more accessible in their spaces, in their buildings, in their venues. And Arnold had been interviewed on CBC Radio about Robson Square. You may hear Robson Square mentioned one or two times in the script. And Arnold was expressing his frustration as a person who uses a wheelchair with how inaccessible Robson Square is, and in fact, how dangerous. And then CBC brought on a representative of the Arthur Erickson Foundation, somebody I think who's still working with the Arthur Erickson group, who was defending the specific area that Arnold was saying is so difficult to navigate as a person with a disability. And they were defending it, saying that you don't mess with an architectural gem like Robson Square, just as you wouldn't mess with the Machu Picchu or you wouldn't mess with the Great Wall of China. And I checked it out afterward, and both Machu Picchu, which is a 15th century citadel, and the Great Wall of China are accessible, or at least have areas that are accessible. So those were the stories from the community and that particular interview. And Amy, you were one of the people who shared stories about what it was like navigating the city. And I remember once sitting with you while you were waiting for your handy dart ride to arrive, and the challenge that that was there when the driver didn't come out to find you, and how you educated them in a firm but gentle way. And it was eye-opening for me. So
Well, because it's constant. Anybody in this space knows that you kind of are on education duty all the time, right?
awesome.
All the time. So I'm sure after they listen to Disability Tour Bus, there might be a few people that come in and share an experience or two about some barriers that come up in their lives. So
I would love that.
yeah. Well, it's 1 minute to 7. I say let's not wait any longer, Rena. This
Go for it.
audio piece, Disability Tour Bus, written by myself and Rena Cohen, directed by Rena Cohen, is approximately an hour long. So we'll sit back and have a listen to it together, and then we'll come back and we'll have a Q&A, and you can share your thoughts and ask questions of the both of us if you like. So with that, why don't we sit back and have a listen to Disability Tour Bus. Rick, why don't you go ahead and hit play on that one?
I breathe in stillness and I breathe out anxiety. My patience makes me calm. I can do hard things.
Shiloh!
My patience makes me calm.
You don't want to be late your first day.
It's all good. My patience helps those around me to be calm.
You really cannot fuck up the job this time. You promised. You need this job. We need this job.
Don't fuck it up. We need this job.
Are you taking this seriously?
Could you legit cut me some slack?
Hey, just a friendly reminder not to lose your shit again. Here, packed your lunch.
Thanks. Is this your way of getting me into the right headspace? Because
I'm stressed, Shiloh. Interest on our mortgage for this glorified closet is killing us. I can't shoulder it
you
all.
won't have to, babe. I'm gonna crush it as a tour guide.
I know. It's just, you can be very outspoken.
And that's a desirable trait for a tour guide.
You know what I mean? I'm saying sometimes you have to go along to get along, okay?
Bren, this company really seems to get me. They were, captivated by my suggestions during training, which I nailed, and super supportive of me not just as an employee, but as a whole person. Anyway, at my last job, they hated people with disabilities. My technical skills were fine.
Your boss touched the corner of your wheelchair and you told her to lay the fuck off.
It was not her first time.
Okay, Shy, we came this close to losing this place until I took extra shifts at the hospital. And it nearly burnt me out.
I know.
It was awful. I really need for you to take this adulting seriously.
Trust me on this, okay? I got this.
Truly? Mm-hmm. Come here. One for good luck.
See why I love you?
So let's focus, yeah? First day of your new job, and first day of the rest of our lives. Bus pass?
Left pocket.
Phone?
Right here.
Water bottle?
Backpack. Locked compartment.
Keys?
All set. I'm a bounce now.
You can do hard things.
Cool beans, I know it.
Don't forget your gloves.
Want to walk me to the elevator and press the button for me?
Oh, funny. Hey, you got this.
It's what I'm telling you. Bye. Awesome.
Damn it. Which means it's nowhere. It was on the couch. Honey, have you seen my voice amplifier? I think I left it in the couch last night.
Here you go.
You're the best. Oh, nearly forgot. Got something for you.
Aw, sweet. Book of 50 fun dates. I love it. But
Gotta respect date night.
I hope there's lots of ideas that don't cost much.
Are we stressing about the renoviction?
I had that falling dream again.
We'll be fine.
But where will we go? Right now I can walk to work. Am I going to have to commute for 2 hours every day just to get to work? Just to have a place to live?
Bex, look, I'm asking for a raise today.
Seriously? That's amazing. But what if...
I'm going in early. Helen's expecting me. It's going to be hard for us to find a new place in this city on what we're bringing in. More money, softer landing. Tourists are flocking to Vancouver. Companies expanding. We're hiring new people. It's as good a time as any.
Hope so, Hugh.
Hey, aren't you going to be late?
Hybrid day. Gonna work from home as long as we have one. Got your phone?
Jacket pocket.
Water bottle?
Backpack. Okay, on my way. One for good luck.
You got this. Oh, it's way early. Gonna look like a basic noob if I get there this ahead of time. Gonna get that coffee. And say hey to my favorite barista.
Hey, Shiloh. Your usual.
Thanks, Jay. And let me pick one up for my new boss. Guess who's starting a new job today?
Sick.
Cream and sugar in the bag, please. And put the lid on tightly, as usual. Thanks.
Always.
Awesome. Bye. Okay. Tons of time. I can make this green light. Just over the curb cut and across the street. And construction sign blocking this curb cut. Down you go. Past this, sign in front of the SkyTrain elevator again. The elevator at the SkyTrain is broken. Well, that blows. Please call the TransLink line at this number.
This is TransLink. How can I help
Hey,
you?
the elevator is broken at Olympic Village Station. What's the most wheelchair-accessible way to get to Yaletown Roundhouse?
You could take the number 15 Canby to Broadway City Hall.
But that's backtracking and it'll make me late. Deep breaths. My patience makes me calm. Number 23 bus instead of the Canada line. No problem. It's just another block. Let's go. Excuse me, on your left.
Hey, do you have a license for that thing?
Original. Half a block and yeah, perf. Power. All good. Yes, made it. Yay, great timing. Just, hey people, sorry, let me through. Driver needs to see me to release the ramp. Thank you. Awesome, thank you. Excuse me, driver, I need the ramp lowered, please.
Sorry, accessible spots are occupied. Next bus in 12 minutes.
Fuck!
Move aside, please.
Damn it! My patience makes me calm. I can do hard things. No worries, I'll wait for the next bus. So only if the next one doesn't have an accessible spot, I'll have to wait another 12 minutes and then might make it on time. You don't want to be late for your first day, Shiloh. No, Bren, I don't. I really don't. That's it. Gonna do this on my own steam. Excuse me, coming through the other way.
Mommy, why is that lady in a wheelchair?
The wheelchair helps her to get around, Peanut.
But why? Why are you in a wheelchair?
Peanut. Sorry, my daughter is very curious.
No worries.
You don't have to be her teachable moment.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, what's your name?
Jessica.
Well, Jessica, the wheelchair helps me to go places because my legs don't work the way yours do.
Are you sad to be in a wheelchair?
No, Jessica. Wheelchairs are awesome. Without one, I'd be stuck at home, but with one, I've got freedom. I'm going to work today.
But how do you get into it?
See my arms? They're strong, and I just lift myself into my wheelchair and out of it whenever I need to.
Do you sleep in your wheelchair?
Peanut.
It's okay. I sleep in a bed just like you do, Jessica. Okay, gotta fly.
But how do you go to the bathroom?
That's enough.
I use bathrooms that have been specifically designed for people like me. Very nice to meet you both.
That was very kind of you.
Were you born in a wheelchair?
And I came out wheels first. No, Jessica, I was born the same as you, but I have a condition that impacts my legs. So I really have to be on my way. The elevator at the SkyTrain was broken and I missed the bus, so cheers.
Oh, she's fast.
Thank you. Hustle, or I'm gonna be late. Late for a very important date. No time to wait.
Hey, do you have a license for that thing?
For real? Patience makes me calm. I can do hard things. No time to be your teachable moment because I'm late. The coffee! Oh, shit!
The customers love me, Helen. I get the best ratings. My reviews make it evident I'm bringing in business. I love guiding tours. I've been here the longest. Business is up. And what I'm saying is, I'd like the company to recognize what I bring to the table.
A raise isn't out of the question.
All I ask is for a chance to prove that money can't make me happy.
It's not every tour guide who gets repeat customers. Our older demographic especially. They love you.
I tell them they don't have gray hairs, just wisdom highlights.
Your ratings are solid. No major screw-ups, just that one time 2 years ago.
Can't wave a magic wand and fix traffic congestion.
You do keep tours on schedule. most of the time. Folks even tell us they've learned something while having a blast.
Appreciate the validation, Helen.
Look, Hugh, we're unable to offer you a raise in your current position.
Meaning?
Moving up means stepping into a managerial role.
Yes, I'm up for that. Absolutely.
If you're willing to take on management duties in addition to leading tours for the next while, then frankly, you're a solid candidate. We believe in hiring internally, especially candidates who demonstrate leadership material.
Fantastic.
We've also had several new tour guides start this month. One in particular could be promising. Fresh energy, quick to absorb on materials and training, also has a crisp, progressive new take on city sights. Could be a real asset. Well, could go either way, early to tell. Maybe takes themselves a bit seriously for Vancouver tours, but you'll find out for us, right?
Sure.
They're on probation for another 2 weeks. Also happens to be a member of an equity-seeking community. This new guide could benefit from partnering with a real pro like yourself.
Okay, glad to show them the ropes.
Today's their first day on the job. I've assigned them to work with you on one of our small group tours. Let's treat this as our test case. See how you handle a supervisory mentoring role, and see how our newcomer responds.
Between you and me, Helen, Becky and I need to find a new place, and rents in this city are outrageous. Bex is flipping. A promotion will make a big difference for us.
I'll get the ball rolling with HR so they know you're an official candidate.
This is terrific. Thank you.
Hugh, you'll be watched closely over the next couple of weeks, so just be sure to be your best.
My husband and I saw one at the gift shop.
Almost everyone here? Folks, what a nice small group we are. Welcome to Vancouver Tours. I'm Hugh. I'm your lead guide for the next 65 minutes, and I'm positively evangelical about the city I call home. Get it? Vancouver? Evangelical?
Good one.
Come in close now. Room for everyone? Can everybody hear me?
We hear you what?
Excellent. We'll just give it a couple more minutes. A new guide will be joining us today, and they're apparently running a bit late, so... Any first-timers to Vancouver? Where are you from, sir?
Portland.
I hear the coffee culture in Portlandia is really percolating.
Yeah.
What brings you here?
A tour.
Okay, thanks for choosing Vancouver Tours. How about you two friendly folk?
Calgary. We're from Cowtown.
Canada's Texas. Howdy, partners.
We are visiting from Toronto. Oh my gosh, your city is gorgeous.
Thank you. You know, your Yonge Street holds the title for the longest street in the world. Now, I thought I heard une smattering of Francais. Okay, out of my dab.
From Quebec.
Bienvenue à Vancouver. Alrighty, folks, it's go time. Welcome to Vancouver Tours. Fun is literally our middle name.
It's your first name.
Pardon?
Vancouver. Fun is literally your first name, not your middle name.
That, my friends, is what I like to call paying extremely close attention. A round of applause and a coupon to you, sir, for our nighttime ghost tour.
No problem.
We're going to have a great time today, folks. Our last tour group had a great time. At least, that's what the police report says. So, what's Vancouver all about? Coffee, mountains, repeat. Okay, you can go home now. Kidding. Today's Vancouver itinerary includes highlights of Yaletown, Gastown, and a couple of other popular sites before we return here to the Roundhouse Community Arts Centre, a provincial heritage site of major historical significance. This roundhouse originally housed and serviced the great steam engines of the Canadian Pacific Railroad.
Hello, back here. Excuse me, wheelchair user coming through.
Make some room for the latecomer, folks. We're standing at the western terminus of Canada's Transcontinental Railway. This is also the center of one of the largest urban experiments, which transformed a few hundred acres into one of North America's densest inner-city sites.
3 more millimeters for my chair to get through, and hey!
Welcome, ma'am. Folks, Vancouver is Canada's highest density city center. Yaletown is our densest neighborhood, and at the center of Yaletown is the Roundhouse, whose mission today is to celebrate diversity of people, values, ideas, and activities.
Places that embrace different perspectives are linked to better productivity.
Yes, very true. Folks, this old building was a repair shed for the trains, but as we know, the one constant in life is change, and diesel-powered engines took over, and that ended steam locomotives. Now, before we mosey to catch our tour bus, we like to acknowledge that we're on the unceded ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples.
Indigenous peoples have been here for over 10,000 years.
Someone after my job? No, really, well done. Here's a coupon for our late-night ghost tour. It's also accessible.
Hey, thanks. Am I working that too?
Wait, you're the newbie?
Yeah, I'm your new guide. Here's a coffee. Sorry, I'm late. Spilled a bit.
Thanks, we don't do coffee on the job.
Ooh, I'll take it.
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Shiloh. My pronouns are she, they.
Guess Helen didn't mention you're the first... Oh, should I say my pronouns?
Yes. I mean, whatever you like.
I'm he, him.
The one constant in life is change, right?
Let's take a moment to welcome you. Folks, Shiloh is the first...
Wheelchair user?
I was going to say first person named Shiloh to ever work with Vancouver Tours. Welcome.
Hey, friends. I'm excited to offer a social justice lens to Vancouver Tours, and I am pumped to lay down what I know.
You are? I mean, we also have a basic script to follow.
With some room for improvisation.
Within certain parameters.
Gonna bring new ideas to one of the world's oldest professions.
Pardon me?
Tour guides have been a thing since 4th century BCE.
Good one. Folks, over there, our chariot awaits. Today, we're riding a battery electric minibus that can travel up to 470 kilometers on a single charge.
Gotta admit, the battery gets charged by an onboard diesel generator. But goals, right?
Vancouver Tours is committed to net zero emissions by 2040.
Hey, Hugh, I've signed up for the new Employee Environmental Committee. Maybe you want to be part of it?
I'll definitely give it some thought. Folks, here we are. Oh. Anyone here own this car or know who does? This car's in our spot. There's our bus, but our driver can't pull in because somebody blocked the lane.
Not me.
That's a pretty massive accessible parking only sign. And there's one for buses only.
Righty, well, guess we can kill a few minutes till whomever owns this car returns. Who likes riddles?
How many people with disabilities does it take to change a light bulb?
Okay, how many?
1 to change it, and 5 able-bodied people to tell them they're an inspiration.
Funny.
I'll run over and have a quick word with our driver. Excuse me a moment.
Sure. Sorry, peeps. Hopefully this will just take a minute.
Getting a late start, though, eh?
Yeah, what you gonna do?
Bus can't pull out while some car's parked in the way.
There he is. An accessible parking violator. Boo!
Yeah, this is my car.
You're blocking the bus. Accessible parking only?
Dudes, hey, my bad. Just ran in to grab a latte.
For real?
Yeah, their brewer is on point. Like, bright acidity.
Dude, whatever. Where's your permit?
Oh, I always park here. Okay, sorry, but their coffee is so good.
These spots are for people with disabilities. Unless you have an invisible disability?
Maybe I have an invisible permit for my invisible disability.
Okay, driver's ready when we are. Sir, you're not supposed to park here.
For real, dude. Your convenience is someone else's necessity.
Yeah, this spot is always empty.
No need for confrontation.
Okay, but there was literally no one here 10 minutes ago.
Great, buddy.
Jeez, you didn't have to form a mob. Let me get past you and I'll be on my way.
Yo! Don't touch my chair.
All right, jeez, sorry.
Off you go now.
Bite my ass.
You never touch someone's wheelchair without their permission.
Sure.
Bye, Felicia.
Back to regular programming, folks. Driver, all clear. Let's get this show on the road.
Patience makes me calm.
You good?
My chair's like part of my body. That was invasive.
What? Oh, okay, got it. Just remember, Vancouver, good times. Stuff happens. We roll with it. You're a professional.
Sure. Cool beans.
The guy was a slime ball.
You think?
Need a moment?
I can do hard things.
We guides need to be prepared for anything.
Yep, no problem. Never underestimate people with disabilities. I've got bug spray in my backpack, mace in my purse, and a handful of antidiuretics in my stomach.
Let's get this show on the road.
Folks, putting that little display of entitlement behind us. Not typical for Vancouver, but just like any world-class city, we have our heroes and our villains. Sometimes hard to tell who's who, right?
Pretty clear from my vantage point.
Alrighty, let's fuel this ride with positive energy. Folks, it's a full itinerary and we'll all stay together till we return to this location. We're boarding a greatly reduced emission minibus. Of course, that also depends on what you've eaten for lunch, sir. Little gas joke there. Hey, Ever wonder, when the driver gets off the bus, who shuts the door? Folks, carry-on items should be stored securely. And note, this minibus is fully accessible. Say hi to our driver, Andrea, my partner in crime.
It's all about the customer. I just put up with you.
You always go the extra mile. Bus all tuned up?
Oh, yeah. Of course, they couldn't repair my brakes, so they made my horn louder.
Wait up! Vancouver Tours? Hey, open up! Tour bus, right?
Hey there, latecomer. Fortune smiles upon you as we're running slightly behind schedule.
I nearly fell ass over tea kettle on that dang obstacle course getting here. Does this city have some sort of fixation with concrete planters?
Welcome.
Where's there an empty seat?
First seat to your left. Oh, yes, sit with me. I'd love it.
Worked up a friggin' sweat. Damn elevator was broken at the SkyTrain.
Had the same encounter.
I've got a big time meetup at the last stop on this tour. I can't be late for that. Name's Tess. You probably saw that on your list.
Don't you worry, Tess. We'll describe everything on today's tour, and feel free to ask questions.
Driver, ready anytime. Shiloh, ready to play ball, you and me?
I'm game.
Fantastic! Folks, we're a small group, and Shiloh and I are going to be talking a lot, so take these next few seconds to introduce yourselves to your neighbors.
Oh, thank you.
It's Tess, right? Do you prefer the term blind or living with sight loss?
Me? Just don't call me late for dinner.
Little history as we turn this corner. The Dominion of Canada was established in 1867, and 4 years later, British Columbia joined.
Indigenous people had scant say in any of it. Our governments failed to recognize Indigenous people's rights, even developed policies to eliminate their cultures.
Indeed, Canada's been doing a lot of self-reflection on that front. Now, joining Canada cleared the way for construction of the great railway that links this country from east to west.
A train line that basically ran the end credits to a whole way of life.
Sadly, yes. The railroad also imposed a barrier to American expansion into the Canadian West. On the left of us, the Yaletown Roundhouse Station.
That's the station I came through. I had to navigate up and down those floors like it was snakes and ladders. Up and down and up and down.
That's TransLink for you. TransLink pledged to step up their access game for the stations in 2018 by building additional escalators. If only the elevators didn't take a month to repair, right?
Now you may be able to catch a peek straight ahead of the crown-like retractable roof of BC Place, our state-of-the-art sports and performance venue.
BC Place hosts the Whitecaps games and big-name acts. Beyonce and Jay-Z, Metallica. $500 is the average price to watch a live event at BC Place. Premium seats go as high as $36,000.
What concert costs just 45 cents? 50 Cent featuring Nickelback. Seriously, BC Place has hosted tens of millions of people since opening.
Just remember, Gate F isn't accessible. Yes, Tess?
F is an F-U, eh? Oh. Me and Dave, we had our first date at BC Place. You know what? I bet you that's why he snagged me a ticket for this tour. Little trip back in time before we meet up again today. Dave's such a romantic.
Your Dave sounds legit.
BC Place provides fans who are hearing and visually impaired with assistive listening devices.
Assistive listening devices? I can hear just fine.
I don't get...
It's the word impaired. Drunk drivers are impaired. She's a person with sight loss.
Got it. Person first language. Person with sight loss.
But I'm a blind lady.
But
she gets to identify however she likes.
Just call me Tess. Hey, can you tell if my phone has any juice?
9%.
That should last me till the last stop on this tour, I think.
Okay, folks, coming up on our right is the Terry Fox Monument, designed by Vancouver artist Douglas Copeland. Terry Fox won the hearts of Canadians when he ran across our giant country on one leg, having lost the other leg to cancer, to raise money for cancer research. He called the journey the Marathon of Hope.
Broken peepers here. What you looking at?
Oh, it's 4 statues of Terry Fox running. The one furthest away is the smallest, and the statues increase in size as he moves toward his goal, the Pacific Ocean, and grows in stature in the public's imagination.
Terry had a dog, eh?
He did? You sure?
So as the story goes, they chose the dog, name was Lucky, because he had the same cancer and fake leg as Terry. But Terry kept tripping on the dog, so they got rid of him.
Doesn't sound very lucky.
Hey, how come she knows that?
Goes back to when I was first going blind. Dave comes home one day.
Who's Dave?
Dave's my guy, my ex, maybe my next. Fingers crossed, right? So back then, I'm losing my sight, and one day Dave comes in with a puppy.
Sweet.
Nah. I got super pissed at him, yelled my head off because I decide when I want a guide dog, not him.
Dave sounds adorable.
Yeah, and I'm the fool. Puppy was half blind, not a guide dog at all. Dave just thought that Bruno would make good company for me.
Did you say you were meeting up with Dave at the end of this tour?
Last stop.
When was the last time you saw him?
3 years ago.
3 years?
Long story.
You're reuniting with Dave at the end of our tour?
That's the plan.
Like, reuniting?
Don't want to build castles in the air, but...
Awesome!
Pretty cool.
That is so romantic.
Friendly reminder, bus full of tour customers.
Right. At the end of the block on the right is the Sun Tower, a 1912 Beaux-Arts building and home today of the Vancouver Sun.
Ah, but did you know it was originally called the World Tower?
Because of the World newspaper.
Right you are. The 17-story building was the tallest building in the British Empire when it was built to house our first newspaper. See the 9 terracotta maidens supporting the cornice? Back in the day, these maidens were controversial because they were considered to be holding sensuous poses.
Scandalous. In 1923, the famous Harry Houdini locked himself in a straitjacket and was hung by the heels on the side of this building.
Beats me why someone would want to take chances like that. Hung by the heels at 17 stories?
Ah, but 3 minutes later, Houdini freed himself. The Vancouver crowd went wild.
Could have been a goner.
Hashtag tabs, right?
Tabs?
Tabs, you know it. TABS. The world's divided between people with disabilities, PWDs, and the tabs, temporarily able-bodieds.
I know tabs. Tabs was me before I lost my sight. I thought I'd sail through my 30s able-bodied, but life had other plans for me. How do you know about tabs?
Me? I'm a wheelchair user.
No way, get out.
Up ahead, you get a glimpse of Vancouver's Chinatown. The red lampposts symbolize luck, joy, and happiness in Chinese culture.
2,000 Chinese laborers were brought in by the CPR to work on the railway, right? Paid half of their white counterparts. Hundreds didn't survive.
Tragic, and yes, true. You're doing great. Just follow my lead. Lighten up a bit.
Sure. This area served as a safe haven and a second home for Chinese immigrants. There's a pretty hip vibe and great markets, even though some have closed because...
Hey, folks, our driver just gave the sign we need to take a quick detour due to construction. Back with you in a second, just gonna check in with her. Shiloh, these few blocks aren't in the tour script, but I've got some stories and riddles.
This better not put us behind schedule.
Oh, I could talk all day about these rundown buildings and developers' efforts to modernize.
Can we take a little breather from the tour talk? Come on, miss. Spill the rest of your juicy X story.
Or I can talk about gentrification.
I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah, let the blind chick talk.
Sure, I like a juicy X story as well as an X guy.
Right?
Guess we've got a spare minute, if she consents, of course.
Normally, the only thing people ever ask me about is how I went blind. Really, you want to know?
Oh, yeah.
Spill.
Okay, I guess. Dave. Used to be my boyfriend, fiance, actually. Yeah, I know, shocking, right?
And?
Before I lost my sight. Broke it off after my diagnosis.
Your guy bailed after you got the diagnosis?
No. Really?
No, you got it wrong. Dave's the best guy you'll ever meet. Big heart, sweet as honey. Not hard on the eyes. The only thing we ever fought about was my being late. It was the one thing between us. I'm always late, he's always on time. According to Dave, if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late. That's it. Mostly we were content. We had our whole lives mapped out and everything. We were talking about kids. But then I got my diagnosis and it felt crappy to ask him to stay with me after I went blind, so I ended it.
What?
Let her finish.
I had to break up with him, come on. Final straw was that time I dropped this whole pot of pasta bolognese on the floor. Vegetarian because Dave doesn't believe in eating anything with a face. So I'm carrying this pot of pasta, and well, I missed the whole damn countertop, and that friggin' load of sauce, it just fell on the damn floor.
Vegetarian meat sauce? That's a thing?
Not in Cowtown anymore.
Come on, accidents happen.
For me, that was the clincher. I had to harden my heart to do it, so I ended it. I mean, for the next 2 years, I was laser focused on learning how to get along, how to find my toothbrush, make coffee, use a white cane.
That's so sad. Poor Dave.
Yeah, broke his heart. That was rough. Don't look at me like that. Yeah, I can tell. Look, I was afraid of becoming dependent on him. I needed to prove to myself that I could make it on my own.
So that was then. What's the plan today?
I've gotten my life together. I'm working again. I found myself thinking of Dave. You know, he used to make me popcorn and rub my feet while watching my game shows with me.
I wish I had someone who'd do that for me.
So this one night I'm tossing and turning and I say to myself, Tess, admit it, you still love him. So I send him an email, just a casual message. It's 2:25 a.m. and get this. 2:26 a.m. and my inbox dings. It's him. Next thing you know, he calls me up and 3 hours pass and we are yakking away like it's old times. And suddenly he asks me if I'm calling because I want to try again.
And do you?
So I go, well, I do miss you. And he goes, well, I was hoping to hear you say that, but I can't have you breaking my heart again. And I tell him, once was all I needed. But I just couldn't get it together. First time we were supposed to meet, I don't know, I got cold feet. Second time, I chickened out again. But I told him how sorry I was. I really want to be with him. I'm ready. So he's given me one last chance. He sends me this ticket for this tour and he says we'll meet up at the last stop.
Today?
On this tour?
But...
What?
But
what?
Dave says, if this is important to you, Tess, if this is real, then you'd better be there. If you don't show up, then you'll never hear from me again, and I'll take that as the final no. Hey, can we pick up the pace on this tour?
Hugh, we're pretty much running on time, right?
This is such a cute story.
Welcome to Daves of Our Lives. Settle down, folks. Stay in your seats. Hey, let's have some fun. How do you get 50 Canadians out of a swimming pool? You say, please get out of the swimming pool.
Hey, this road needs work.
The cobblestone streets. Gastown is Vancouver's oldest neighborhood.
Ever tried wheeling around these streets? Spoiler, not funsies. It's hell on wheels.
Not ideal for us blind folks either. Cobblestones and white canes do not mix.
And there's no automated street crossings.
Sounds like Gastown kinda sucks.
Shiloh, I feel like you're not getting the message. Can you fix this, please?
Friends, our beautiful ocean is just beyond these buildings on the right. And back in the day, the street would get submerged during high tide, which is why it's called Water Street.
Wow.
Today, the district retains its historic charm and independent spirit. Victorian architecture houses galleries, restaurants, and a thriving fashion scene. There's the famous steam clock to our right. Underneath this city is a series of steam pipes that provide heat to most of the buildings in the downtown core, and steam for the whistles of the Gastown steam clock. Every 15 minutes... There you go. Pass this clock at any time of day and you'll see a crowd like this, surrounding it like bees to honey.
Gonna let you peeps in on a little secret. It's actually not powered by steam. It's electricity.
Appearing to be a remnant of the Victorian era.
But it was put there in 1977, so kinda draws bees to, I don't know,
aspartame.
Maybe somebody's got a little too much steam winding their motor?
It's a funny story.
Yeah, and I was just getting to it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't...
You two squabbling. Better not slow things down. Shit. My phone died.
No squabbling, we're just confabulating. So that's the steam clock, folks.
Voted the world's worst tourist attraction for a record 10th year after being labeled pointless by the World Travel Awards. That's funny,
It's
isn't
no
it?
Big Ben.
Canada Place. May through October, 1 million tourists on cruise ships hit up our fancy port, always packed with these big boat hotels. Go ahead, I can tell you want to put your spin on it.
Well, we're just blocks away from Canada's biggest unhoused population.
My lord.
Hey Tess, FYI, there are seams in the sidewalks in front of Canada Place, hazardous to wheelchair users like me and people living with sight loss.
Thanks for the tip. I like to keep my teeth in my face.
Folks, we'll pull over here just long enough for you to get a good view of the Olympic Cauldron.
Or as some of us refer to it, the Paralympic Cauldron.
Hey, can you open the door?
Sorry, not in service.
Well, what do you mean? You got people riding.
Hugh?
Sir, this is a private tour.
Anybody want to guess how many medals Canada won in the 2010 Paralympic Games? 19 total medals, 10 of them gold.
Look, I'm off a cruise ship. Got 2 hours. You take American money, right?
Sir, I'm going to ask you to step off. Shiloh, carry on.
Canada won a record number of gold medals for a host country of the Winter Olympics. 14. Team Canada's women and men's ice hockey team won gold over the good old US of A.
Huh? Well, the U.S. will take your team 9 times out of 10.
With Canadian players. And in the 2010 Paralympics, Canada came in 3rd, winning 19 medals.
Oh, the Paralympics. Big whoopee-doo. Who needs to see a bunch of cripples getting their jollies off?
Excuse me?
What the?
Hey, watch it.
Whoa, you watch your cane, blind lady. Oh, sorry, didn't see ya. That's funny, because she can't see.
Get off the bus.
Huh?
Now! You stupid fucking ableist prick!
What the? I thought Canadians were nice. Serious.
Sorry about that, folks. More excitement today than you can shake a stick at. One more site to survive. I mean...
Hugh?
Shiloh, can we have a confab? What that guy did was not okay, but what you just did there totally crossed a line.
I'm sorry. I mean, but he was... Yeah, I lost it. It won't happen again.
I'll take over this last site.
Uh-oh.
You snapped. It's okay. I once used my white cane to trip a guy who pushed past me on an escalator.
I think I've screwed up big time. I've made a terrible mistake. Oh my fucking lord. Bren warned me not to lose my shit. She's gonna murder me. I can't deal with job hunting again. I've been rejected 1,000,000 times.
Folks, our last site, Stanley Park, is 1,000 acres. It's 60% coastal temperate rainforest, providing a valuable habitat for wildlife.
We're not going to Stanley Park. We're going to Robson Square. Is Stanley Park close to Robson Square?
Not at all.
Look, I need to get to Robson Square to meet Dave.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, ma'am.
You don't understand. I can't be late.
We're on a fixed route.
Dave bought me a ticket to Robson Square, as advertised.
Shiloh, you checked your ticket, right?
Pass me your ticket, Tess.
Stanley Park is named after Lord Stanley, who was our Governor General when the park was established in 1889. There's a sports award named after him. Can anyone guess?
That's the Stanley Cup, bud.
That's right, the Stanley Cup.
We gotta stop. Stop the bus!
I don't take marching orders from you, lady. Sit down.
Better pull over, Andrea.
Hang on, folks. Changing lanes.
Lost my lunch.
Ma'am, there's been a mistake. Terribly sorry about this, but we can let you off at the next stop. Robson Square is 5 blocks away. You can walk.
We can't leave her stranded in the middle of downtown Vancouver.
I get around fine on my own.
I know you do, but you won't make it in time. Won't he wait if you're just a bit late?
If I'm not there on time, he'll leave. I know it.
You for real don't think he'll wait for you?
Damn. My first bus was late, the SkyTrain elevator was broken, and now I'm on the wrong tour bus?
Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Her ticket is for another tour that runs parallel to ours. It's my fault.
What the?
In the rush of getting her settled, I didn't properly check her ticket.
You mean?
It's my fault. I'm so sorry, Tess. How can I make it right?
Get me to Robson Square!
Hugh, this is the guy she almost married. You heard her story?
Like I had much of a choice.
What do I have to do? You want money? Here, take my wallet. Driver, step on it!
Please settle down.
Listen to me. Robson Square, it's where Dave and I met. In the zipline lineup at the Olympics, I got my mitten caught in my jacket, and Dave, he helped me with the zipper, and that's why we have to meet at
Robson Square, where you first met.
You gotta get me there.
Well, we're pulled over now. No way we're making scheduled...
No, driver, don't stop.
Lady, sit down. Folks, make up your mind. We can't stop here forever.
Oh, swing your cane like that and someone could get hurt.
Tess, not a good idea.
Driver, Robson Square. Driver!
Get a grip. The business end of that cane is no joke.
Tess, listen to me. Can't you contact Dave and tell him to meet you at Stanley Park instead?
I can't reach Dave. My phone died.
You could use my phone.
You think I memorized his phone number? Do you know your partner's phone number?
No.
You?
No.
Sorry, I thought maybe blind people memorize.
Interesting fact, Einstein didn't memorize his own phone
Who gives
number.
a rat's ass about Einstein?
I feel like we need to help her somehow.
She's putting us in danger and behind schedule.
Oh, please, I feel perfectly safe.
Can we stand in the way of true love?
Tour's messed up. Let's ask for our money back.
You see, they paid for a tour through an iconic Vancouver park.
Come on, Hugh. We have some flex, right? There was construction back in Chinatown. We took a different route then.
That's different.
When I was in training, they talked a lot about improvising when things go down unexpectedly.
That's about traffic and cruise passengers backing up the streets and incidents like that.
We're running out of time.
Watch where you swing that. What is wrong with you?
Mind your own business. Want me to walk you through my optic nerve damage like it's a tour?
Hugh, that's a very rude question to ask a person with a disability.
This blind chick has balls.
You numpty. She calls herself a blind lady, not a chick. And what is men's obsession with their balls?
It's a compliment.
This is a total loss of social order. Shiloh, no joke. We have a professional responsibility. Lord, our jobs are at stake.
Come on, you're a middle-aged, able-bodied white guy. Your job is secure.
Are you kidding? You just described the least secure demographic of the 21st century.
Let's get the chick, lady, to her boyfriend.
Kinda wanna see this Dave guy for myself.
Yeah, we got parks up the yin-yang in Cowtown.
Tess, sit down. Sit. Thank you. Give us a minute. Look, Hugh, I know this is my first day and all, and maybe we didn't start off on the right foot.
You mean because you bash everything? Make everyone feel guilty for stuff we weren't even alive for? We're called Vancouver tours, not grievance tours. I'm not caving to these brash demands.
Hey, I love Vancouver. I'm just keeping up what I did in training.
Yeah, relentlessly.
Well, they loved it.
I'm not convinced you heard them correctly.
What? How would they... Are you saying they pretended to like my perspective?
No, I'm not saying anything of the sort.
What is happening? Hang on, Tess. Okay, Hugh, let's focus. What's more important, giving this tour for the millionth time or reuniting two people who are meant to be together?
Get real. This is your first day on the job. You do realize most new employees take a back seat, right?
Not so much in my nature.
You think this Dave guy is even real? How do you know this isn't some kind of scam? I mean, they say love is blind. Give me a break. Stop acting the woke pain in the rump.
That's a shitty thing to say.
Sorry. Crap, I didn't mean that.
My patience makes me calm. I can do hard things. Hugh, listen, maybe this really is true love she's talking about. And if it is, how can we not? Like, I can't imagine my life without my Bren. She always has my back. She's also the biggest pain in my butt, but if I had just one last chance to be with her, I'd do everything. I mean, you get it, right?
No, I don't get it. I could get fired for going off route. Got that? I can't afford to be kicked out of this job. For crying out loud, my wife's relying on me. We had to move 3 times in the past 5 years. I need a promotion, and Helen's already reminded me of that one damn stain on my record when I went off schedule.
You've had to move 3 times? I get it. Our place needs accessibility upgrades, and Bren's been the sole breadwinner, so how fair is that? Ugh, that's Vancouver. Come on, Hugh, it's just a small route adjustment.
That they'll put on my record. They're going to point the finger right at me. Crap, I'm supposed to prove I'm a competent manager doing a stupendous job, aren't I?
I am kind of extra.
What she said.
No doubt.
What do you say, Hugh? Just this one time?
I gotta move the bus.
Please. 30 seconds, Tess.
All I want is to run a carefree tour, get folks tickled about this town, get my promotion.
Hugh, Helen raved to me about you. She trusts you to always do the right thing for the customers. They'll get it.
Will they? Changing the route will demonstrate my leadership? Convince them I'm ready for bigger challenges?
Leaders aren't afraid of change.
So shake things up. Do something different.
Yes, and Robson Square is the jewel in Vancouver's crown, right?
It's an internationally recognized masterwork that put Vancouver on the map.
You love to tell people about Arthur Erickson, don't you?
He's a hero of mine, but that's not
Reason
relevant,
it, Hugh. Most tourists plan a day at Stanley Park anyway. Who visits Vancouver and doesn't go to Stanley Park? Am I right, folks? And you get to talk about the art gallery. Christchurch Cathedral is sitting right there, the oldest church in town.
When it opened in 1889, it was a basement with a temporary roof. Wait a minute.
Blame me, Hugh. I'll take the fall.
Stop it. Let me think. There are rules. A policy book. There's a clause in the policy book.
Something in the fine print?
Quiet for a second. Clause 119 of Vancouver Tours Policy Handbook states the customer's positive experience is the most important outcome.
I know you care about company policy, Hugh.
I could say we're legitimately fulfilling our customer's request.
Exactly.
You think I won't write you up?
Folks, what do you say? How about we mix things up and take a different route?
Go ahead, change the route for the blind
It's
lady.
a chance to witness a real-life romance.
What the hey? Stanley Park another day.
What the hey?
Stanley Park another day. What the hey?
Folks, still stay close and not wander off?
Yeah.
You'll give him 5 stars on Yelp?
I can do that.
You hearing your customers, Hugh?
My lord. I mean, I can't believe I'm doing this. Damn it. Why not? Leadership means stepping up, showing some spine. Sorry, spine, is that... No. Okay. It's about taking risks, not being afraid of change. Next stop, Robson Square.
Next stop, Robson Square. Hold on.
Dave, please wait. Please wait for me. Please wait for me. Please wait for me. Please wait for me.
Well, let's give these people some value. On your right is the Hotel Vancouver, one of Canada's grand railway hotels. We're in the financial district of downtown Vancouver and near 2 SkyTrain stations.
Are we close?
We're coming up to the Vancouver Art Gallery, which backs onto Robson Square. Moments away, Tess.
Vancouver architect Arthur Erickson was asked to design a new courthouse and proposed a 55-story building in the brutalist style. Masses of foreboding concrete.
Foreboding, my favorite.
City Council had imposed a height restriction on buildings, 40 stories, to help preserve the views of the mountains and the natural light downtown. So Erickson took the 55-story design and said, let's turn it on its side and let people walk all over it.
Erickson had able-bodied walkers in mind, that's for sure. But that's interesting info, Hugh. Thanks.
You're welcome. The plexiglass dome covers an open-air skating rink in the winter, and in the summer it's used for things like salsa dancing classes and concerts.
It's a big place. Where are you supposed to meet Dave?
He said at the top of the V.
The top of the V? Never heard of it.
What does it mean, Hugh? V as in bag?
Vancouver Art Gallery?
We're here, folks. Robson Square. Can't park here for long.
Off the bus, everyone. Let's stay together.
Stick close.
Hurry, let's go.
Too close, hey.
So excited.
Here we are, Robson Square. A serene system of landscaped terraces and waterfalls making up a vast urban landmark stretching for 3 city blocks. Built over 6 years, starting in 1973, check out the simple and rectilinear forms, the verticals, horizontals, and terraces, softened by the pools and green spaces designed by landscape architect Cornelia Oberlander.
Super engaging info, Hugh, but gotta find the V. Focus.
Why did Dave make it so hard for us to find him?
Let's turn left here.
Maybe the V is in the design of the Erickson stairs. Folks, see what I'm talking about? The brilliant combination of stairs and ramps. Stramps.
Sounds rude.
Maybe the V stands for Viagra.
God help her.
This series of stairs and ramps does look like a series of V's.
Is Dave there?
I don't see anyone.
Hey, that red sculpture kind of looks like a V.
That one's called Spring.
Is he there? Dave? Dave?
I don't think so. Your Romeo has us on quite the scavenger hunt. Give us a clue. What does Dave look like?
Dave has gentle hands, a good heart, smells like Old Spice.
It's gotta be these interconnecting V's.
The sight of these stramps makes me want to barf. Ugh, I can't stand this place. We've been begging the city for ages to add handrails.
Come on, maybe Casanova is at the top.
Shiloh, you go in front. I'll hold on to Hugh. Hugh, give me your arm. I'll hold on to your elbow like this, and we'll follow her. Okay, everyone else behind us? Come on, Shiloh, we can't waste time.
Coming through, people. Ugh, for crying out loud.
To quote Mr. Erickson, the steps here, which are part of this wonderful public space, have stairs and ramps so that everybody can enjoy it.
Yeah. Love of life right now. You know what? Fuck Arthur Erickson. It's terrifying that you can't even tell where one stair ends and the other begins because they're all the same color.
Are you okay?
Thanks for asking.
You got this.
Where's Dave? Dave!
He'll turn up, Tess.
The city considers these ramps ornamental.
So people like me aren't supposed to actually use it? Which is it? For everyone to use or ornamental? Make up your mind.
These are beautiful sculptural stairs. People rave about them.
Dave! Come on, let's keep going.
Going. Tess, give us another clue what Dave looks like.
6'3", on the heavy side. Kind of looks like a lumberjack, but for real. Oh, Dave has this red toque that he likes to wear for no good reason.
No sign, but
Are we almost there?
Hugh, I've seen the comments on social. This is so good for wheelchair users. This is how you do great accessible design.
So what's the problem?
Hang on a sec, I'm dying here. Okay, on the upside, it's sparking real talk on making spaces accessible. But can't you tell? It doesn't work for the people it's supposed to help. Okay, one more push.
Dave!
Made it.
So, here we are.
See anything?
No lumberjacks. Nope. Actually, nobody at all.
Dave! Oh my God! We're too late! He's gone! He's gone!
We're only a few minutes behind.
Dave, where are you? Dave! He's not here! Oh my God, I'm such a dolt! This whole thing has been a fool's errand. I'm so sorry, everyone! Stop that! Hey, somebody's licking my hand! Dave? Wait, Bruno? Is that you? Oh, Bruno!
Tess!
Oh,
Tess?
Dave?
I'm so sorry I was late. I got caught in traffic. I tried to call you, but I couldn't get through. I almost didn't make it. I'm so sorry. How long have you been waiting?
Not very long.
I'm so glad you're here. You look wonderful.
You didn't make it easy to find this place.
But I thought this ramp stair combo was famous for being accessible.
Bruno remembers me.
He had a bath today. Me too. I showered, Tess, I nearly lost it when I heard your voice. And then I lost his leash, but he found you. Oh, you're the best boy, aren't you, Bruno?
Oh, he's the best boy.
This isn't how I imagined it.
You're probably a cat person.
Oh, Dave, I should never have ditched you.
Listen, Tess.
No, you shut up and listen. It's taken me a long time to realize that I'm the same person I always was, and if you're the same person that you always were, then we can probably be each other's person again, like we were then, just different. Anyway, I really want to try.
No more doubts.
I'm here on time, aren't I?
Were all these people watching us?
These people brought me to you. Thanks, all of you.
Mister, you better take care of her after all she put us through.
This woman. I'm gonna do everything in my power to deserve her.
And I am not going to be afraid to ask for help.
Asking for help isn't...
It isn't a sign of weakness. I get that now. Hey, give me your arm. Thanks. Shiloh?
Hey, Tess.
Thanks for saving my bacon. Hugh? Don't screw it up for her.
Tess, remember when we used to dance at the beach? So I brought my old boombox. Remember? Boombox Betty? How about one dance as reunited lovers?
Gross. Okay, yeah.
You're actually not allowed to play music here without a license.
Shut up. Buzzkill that guy.
You put your hands here, and mine will go there, just like old times. Hey, pal, can you, hit the play button for me?
Look at those two.
Mission accomplished.
Mission completed, anyway. Better get back to the bus and return these people to the starting point.
Now we have to go down these straps? Seriously, F my life. Ugh. Hugh, can you give me a hand? It was hard enough coming up. Going down's a lot worse. I could really use some help. Do you mind? I'm afraid I won't have the arm strength to control my chair going down. Yeah, it's okay to touch my chair when I ask you to. It wouldn't be a good look if I fell over the ledge. Tour guide Dad from leading patrons over foreboding concrete ledge.
Of course. Let me get around you. Okay, got a solid grip. Here we go. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Whoa, that is one sharp turn.
Careful, it's literally a drop-off with no railing.
It's okay, I'm slowly doing the switchback. This cannot have been built to code.
Code was different in 1973.
I'm taking it very slowly. This is a major safety hazard. Once more around the switchback in.
Hate these cursed stramps.
I've got you. There. Safe on flat ground again.
Yay. Okay, bus is still there. Hey, folks, you can make your way back in.
No, I've always been a prairie boy, but Vancouver's pretty good.
Oh, someone tell the driver 5 more minutes.
Look, I get it, Hugh. Maybe I'm not Vancouver Tour's material. I just have to figure out how to explain this to Bren.
I never said you weren't Vancouver material.
Back there you said... Hugh, what do you mean back there? Were they just condescending to me in training?
Well...
Wait, am I the diversity hire?
No, Shiloh, they genuinely believe you could be a real star. It's true. Helen was just hoping, well, you know, people don't usually tell you your flaws. They want you to figure them out for yourself.
My flaws?
Shiloh, don't get me wrong. All your facts are straight. I can't argue with your what, but the how. You're so confrontational.
I care that we tell the truth. I thought with this company, I finally have a platform to call out injustice. Okay, so a minibus.
A Vancouver minibus. You know, when people enjoy themselves, when we're positive, it releases dopamine.
I get my rush from telling the truth.
Shiloh, can't we hold more than one truth at a time?
I don't think you understand how hard it is to be in a world that's always reminding you it isn't built for you. Do you want me to promote the city as if it has no barriers? If it isn't a set of stairs or stramps, it's a broken down elevator or no curb cuts or... I want to be real about the city. Tell the stories people need to hear if we're going to move forward.
That sounds hard. You know, you can catch more flies
with honey than with vinegar. That's what Bren tells me. But then I say you can kill more flies with a fly swatter. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn Vancouver Tours into a combat zone.
It did feel like you wanted a piece of me. Aren't there some things about this city that are pretty good?
If you're asking me whether I can balance the negative with the positive, then I guess the answer is probably.
Want to stick around? Give it a chance?
Do you mean...
Look, I'm not writing you up.
I thought... Wait, you're not?
Nah, your heart's in the right place. And those stramps really are a travesty, aren't they?
Right?
I think we should be exposing stuff like this. You know, we could get permission to add this site to more of our tours, reveal it as the mockery of accessibility that it is. Hell, we can even petition the city to make this place more accessible. Once I get into management, I'll have more sway.
Wait, who are you again?
We're all works in progress, right?
Are you this group's leaders or something?
Officer, is there a problem?
Not if you have a license. There are bylaws about formal gatherings here.
We're just on our way, officer, no worries.
Give us 5 minutes.
5 minutes. But you'll have to move away from this corridor so people can pass. Here, let me give you a hand.
Whoa there, sir. You can't just go and touch someone's wheelchair like that, buddy.
Sure thing. Countdown starting now. 5 minutes to gather up and move on.
You believe that guy?
It's okay, Hugh.
That was not okay. He can't just come along.
Well, your response was a little performative, but we'll get there. Hugh, you mean it? You think it's gonna work?
Yes, I really do.
Wow. I've got Bren's voice in my ear right now. She's telling me to say, Hugh, it would be a privilege to learn from you and work alongside you, Hugh. And for real, Hugh, I mean it. You're pretty cool.
Hey, turn up the music!
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Hey, you. One dance, okay?
Ooh, I'm not saying no.
Just one more, friends, then we're out of here.
We got this.
That was Disability Tour Bus, written by Amy Amantea and Rena Cohen, and directed by Rena Cohen, with Cadence Rush Quibel as Shiloh, Leonard Stanga as Hugh, Amy Amantea as Tess, Matt Gordon as Dave, Parker, and the tourist. Caitlin Bairstow, Ian Hanlon, and Lauren Jackson were everybody else. Disability Tour Bus was dramaturged by Dennis Foon, produced by Realwheels Theatre with the cooperation of the Union of BC Performers. Production management by Jordan Wood. Stage management by Kaylee Sandemersky. Sound design and editing by Malcolm Dow. With graphic design by Marie Hoyt Pariuri. Special thanks to our funders.
Like our little audience raving soundbite. I love it. That was Disability Tour Bus, friends. I hope you'll stick around for a little Q&A with Rena and myself. So, Rena, how many times have you listened to this, considering you were the director? So, in the sound booth, how many times have you listened to this?
During the process of editing it, I mean, we worked through it literally second by second, bring in all the sound effects and make sure that we were choosing the very best, the best lines. So, I can't count that. But since it was released, I probably only listened to it a couple of times. And it's been a solid month for sure since I listened to it the last time. So it was fun. It was fun to revisit it. Check in with the old characters.
So let's talk a bit about process. Where did we start? Where did we go? And how did we end up with a podcast, a radio play podcast?
Well, we started before the pandemic, and the plan initially was to mount a live site-specific show to take audiences on a bus through Vancouver. So that's what we started developing. And when the pandemic hit, initially we pivoted and we created 4 podcasts for Realwheels with Emily Grace Brooke and Casper Ryan and Andrew Lawrenson. And so those were released back in June 2022.
Yeah, right? Time's all relative.
Pandemic time. I'm sorry. And then I know Realwheels was going to continue releasing them because some of them, like, for example, focused on rare disease, and there's a national or international rare disease day and so on. So some of the themes, continue to be relevant. But once that was done and we started to get back on the horse to work on the project when we could start working together again, we to cut to the chase, we lost our sponsor who was going to be providing the bus. And that was kind of a long, protracted process. So that became clear that the sponsor who'd signed on originally was not going to be fulfilling their plans, fulfilling the agreement. So we pivoted at that point and said, let's make an audio play. We have a great story. We have a message, about Vancouver. And we were still very, very amped up, filled with energy to make it happen. And at that point, Amy, it was you and me, babe.
It was us. It was us.
It was you and me.
Yeah. And of course, we had to create a whole new, essentially, cast of characters, because when you're on an actual bus, you're limited to the number of characters because you're on an actual bus. But when you're in the world of an audio play, you could have as many characters as you wanted.
Exactly. And that's where it was so fabulous having Dennis Foon come in as dramaturg, because, he was saying, you could set a scene on the moon.
Sure.
You can do anything at this point, right? So we started to build more of the character story. And I think it's the first 4 scenes were brand new, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're brought on the backstories of Hugh and Shiloh, and Hugh at work with Helen, and Shiloh on their way to meet up with the group at the Roundhouse. So those were all new scenes. And then we just continued tweaking and playing until we had a story that we were happy with.
So just for folks who may not know what a dramaturg is, can you break that down?
It's different roles, but in this case, a dramaturg helps with the development of the story, of the play, providing notes on structure, on character, and basically a coach to playwrights.
Yeah, an outside eye.
Dennis Foon is a renowned playwright and screenwriter, and it was just such a privilege to be able to have Dennis working with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really cool. Okay, so we write the play, and it's taken more than 4 years. We pivot. We have a thing that we're ready to record. Then what do we do with that? What was our rehearsal process like? And what was it like being in a recording studio? Because that was a first for me, which was fun to record something of this length in a recording studio. First for you to direct something as an audio play, right?
Well, years ago, when I was at McGill, I did a lot of radio writing, and was in a group. It has a rude name, so I won't repeat it, but some people were quite well-known comics and comedy writers. What was so special to me is that we had 2 weeks to do table work.
Mm-hmm.
That was incredible. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the process of creating live theater, normally you're mounting a play on a stage, and so there's blocking, that's the choreography, the movement of actors who are being pushed or pulled or prodded or motivated to move on stage, and refresh the visual image for the audience. And you're also dealing with costume and set design and lighting, and so a number of these other variables that are a delight to work with. But when they were all taken away because we're doing an audio play, we had the story and we had the characters. And I felt like it was such a rich experience. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but one of the actors cried a couple of times because was so moved to be at the table, that I love this work. And actors do, I mean, I love that work, and most actors love that. Not everyone, but most actors love that kind of work, analyzing the script moment to moment and understanding what their character wants, what they're fighting for moment to moment, and bringing out, such detail in it was a lot of fun. I mean, that's just a joy to me. So having 2 weeks to do that, when on a typical rehearsal period, you might just have a day or two, maybe a couple more, but on average, you're getting up on your feet really quickly. Getting up on your feet being the term, right? We're starting to walk.
In air quotes, yeah.
And so that was very, very special. I remember Leonard saying that it was really transformational for him. And also, the other part of it was that we became so clear about things, and the actors were so clear about their characters, that if we were to be mounting it on a stage, there would be very little work to have to do in terms of blocking, because the intentions were so crystal clear by after the first week and a half. We also had a lot of fun with this one. There was a lot of laughter around the table. I've told this story where there was one time when her watch went off, she got an alert because we were laughing so loud that she got an alert that the decibel level was not safe for human ears. So that's how loud, So I mean that it was just a joy. The working on this in rehearsal was a real joy, and I feel so proud of the performances that everybody gave. And then when we moved into the studio, I mean, then it's a different beast. Now there's a glass separating Malcolm Dow, our genius sound designer, and the engineer in the studio, and me, separating us from the actors. And then it becomes a technical process, and at the same time we're trying to remember on what all the work that we did and stay real and in the moment, and at the same time make sure that we're actually capturing what we actually need, get it in the can, so to speak. And so certain technical aspects of being in the studio were unusual for me. And sometimes people would say, okay, just tell me exactly what you want. Give me the results. Direction is not what I aspire to do. Like, do it this way. We don't do that. But we had our moments and we would be laughing about that. It's like, okay, angrier, or really pounded on this syllable. Syllable. That didn't make any sense. So yeah, the technical aspect of it was interesting. Also, when we were bringing in all of the group, the ensemble sounds. So we had created a menu of trying to anticipate every possible sound that the patrons who are riding the bus might make, or the bus jerks you. Ooh, it's a bigger jerk. Ooh, it's a bigger jerk. Ah! So we had I don't know. I think we had something like 125 different prompts for the act, and we had a blast doing it. I mean, you can imagine that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's
exhausting.
A lot of
work.
work.
A lot of fun. Yeah,
but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I want to let folks know in our audience that you are most welcome to ask questions, make comments if something resonated, if you have a story you want to share. This is your space as well. So I invite you, if you can use the raise your hand function. That's the easiest for me to find you. I think I do have a hand that's raised here, so let me find it. And it is Megan first. So we'll go to Megan first. Get Megan to unmute.
Hi, Megan.
Hi. Were you the one that played Tessa in the play?
Yeah. Did you recognize my
voice?
voice?
Oh my gosh! When like I could see the hysterical was mounting, and all of a sudden the cane whacking. Ooh, I thought, ooh, it's way below the belt. Like, okay, like, jeez, like really. I mean, oh my gosh. When I went to, I never did that ever. Oh my gosh, I know way better now. Because really, it's not using the weapon, but still, I think.
You ever feel like that though, Megan, where you're just like, oh, I just want to smack you with my cane? Ooh.
Well, I did feel like that when I was in Hamilton, Ontario, though. That happened once, but then I regret it, so I never did it again. I was very, very cautious. I'm very aware. I thought to myself, okay, really calm down. Just don't start doing those things. My mom would be furious if that ever happened, Mm-hmm. I did it on the tour bus, like, oh, Meg, what? No, right?
I refer to that as...
How do you feel when you were playing Tessa?
Oh, it worked out for Tess. It doesn't mean that we're endorsing it, but it worked out for Tess.
I was going to say, I like to refer to that as the business end of Amy's cane.
Yeah, but being careful now with that now.
It's just a story.
I know, but still, but you did a really good job of Tessa. Like, whoa. Like, I can see the drama, the action, the expression, like, oh my gosh, wow. Crazy. It was awesome. I loved it. I didn't listen to the whole thing because I was going out for supper with a friend of mine, but still, oh my gosh. Just Oh, yeah.
Well, it'll be on the Realwheels website and also on our YouTube channel, so you can find it again if you want to listen to it, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
My favorite test moment, Amy, was when you've broken down emotionally, and you're, Dave, and this was a waste of everybody's time, and then you feel the dog licking your hand. Dave, is that you?
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Oh, you nailed that.
No human's gonna lick your fingers, but it's ridiculous, right? Yeah.
Dave.
But that's where she is in her emotional state, that she thinks a human is licking her fingers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to Louise and then we'll go to Lori.
Okay, fantastic. It was fantastic. You guys did something that is so unique here. You weren't just showing disability and showing a humorous thing. You were showing the struggles between a wheelchair user and a blind person, where something could be accessible for one person, it can't be for another. Like with that ramp at Robson Square, that accessibility doesn't equal out the same for every disability, and that's important to share. If people were seeing the underline of that at the end, that was important, because disability doesn't mean everything's accessible for each. The compromise in disability awareness and how it's supposed to be built in the environment. And of course, Robson Square was built earlier than other things were. So yeah, but I love the story and the fact that, it shows that people with disabilities can easily get jobs. When we do, we have to hang on, and we're scared to make a mistake, and being late, we're scared not to be late, and we think, oh, we got lots of time, and something goes wrong on the way. I've had that happen to me a few times, even getting to a location I need to be. So I give myself too much time now, and half the time you're there too early. But, that awareness of our environment and what we go through. But I like the story and the fact that sharing that even blindness, as you lose and become disabled of any kind of disability, you need time to adjust in your own insecurities as a disabled person of any kind. It could be any kind. And that Tessa showed us the vulnerability of losing her sight, and, her insecurities with her relationship, insecurities of the environment, planning out her route and everything going wrong, because the elevator was down. The same for the wheelchair, for the wheelchair. Everything just doesn't work the way we plan it to work as people with disabilities. Yeah. I just thought that was well put into it.
Thanks, Louise. Louise is for Rena, Louise is a staunch disability advocate too, so.
Yes.
Right up her alley.
So well put, Louise. Thank you.
But I thank you too for a beautiful story. I was eating my dinner through it as usual. But thank you for the story. It just, because I'm facing my own hurdles right now, coming out of knowing at the end of this, and as I'm recovering from this second leg replacement, I'm going to face my own hurdles in figuring how to get back out in the environment, with a different body. So it is adjustment, and that just helped me tonight in a way. And I'm also going to listen to it on YouTube again, because it might help me get encouraged to keep going in a different way as I struggle.
Yep.
Everybody's months ahead.
Different, right? Yeah.
Yep. But thank you.
Thanks, Louise. Appreciate those kind words. I think we've got Lori next, and then we've got
Audio now unmuted.
First, I want to say a fantastic play. I even stayed awake for the whole thing, and I'm tired. I would say you hitting your cane remind me when I used to hit cars when they would be in the crosswalk.
Oh, isn't that fun though? It's fun.
Yes, and I had a friend who said, someone's going to come out and shoot you for doing that. I was like, well, then they don't need to be in the crosswalk.
So just give Rena some context. Lori lives in Los Angeles. Well, not Los Angeles, but
I live in Northern California.
In California, Northern California. So they have more guns than we do.
Yes, they do. And we have terrible intersections in different parts of Northern California. And people would have their cars in the crosswalk. And I'd have to walk around them. and that I would hit my cane against their cars because they were where they weren't supposed to be. I can't do that now because I don't want to get run over since I don't walk as fast across the intersections as I used to because I'm using two canes. So I have two barriers right now. I have a support cane and a blind cane. So I'm using both to get across the street. And I think seeing this, and I think more people need to see it, really shows them how, because I belong to an organization, we have blind and visually impaired and people in wheelchairs. And I see the struggles of what a wheelchair has to go through and what we go through. And I think more people who are just maybe becoming disabled need to see something like this.
I'll share it.
To really show how it is to deal. And those stairs that they went up in that place, I could have never done those stairs as a person who is blind and has balance issues.
Oh yeah.
I would have never been able to do it. And friends that I have in wheelchairs would have never been able to do those ramps because of all the curbs in it. It would have been too dangerous with no ramp against it. They wouldn't have tackled it. Yeah. And even power wheelchairs would have had a really hard time with it. So that really shows that that place was never even thought about somebody with a disability, which is terrible to see even nowadays.
And don't they have all sorts of signs around there that say like "careful of tripping" and
yeah, there's a lot of warning signs, like really kind of scary looking warning signs. But you know, when Arthur Erickson designed it, the irony is he was thinking about people with disabilities. It's just that I don't think he asked to be guided and for his decisions to be informed by people with lived experience of disability, because it doesn't work.
No, they need railings on the stairs and the ramps all the way around. And, they should have asked, would have been nice. He should have asked somebody with a disability how this should work, and that would have helped it out a little bit better when it was designed. And I say that about a couple other things I know this here in the Bay Area. They should have asked a disabled person first before they designed the place, and everything. So that's what I was saying. You made a good test there, Amy. You're a good test on that, everything.
Thanks, Lori.
And all that. So yeah, it was a very good program. And I think more people with disabilities need to see something like this, just to really open their eyes, especially the public too, because there are too many people out there. I had somebody about a month ago who tried to cross in front of me with my two canes and doesn't say, you should have just tripped them,
Goodness.
Yeah, so yeah, I think more people need to see this program to really see how we struggle as disabled people.
Yeah, we educate one at a time, right?
That's true. That's true.
It's very validating to hear that it resonated for you. So thank you for that.
Okay, I think we've got Rita with a hand. Come on in, Rita.
Okay, so first of all, it was a great play. I really loved it, and it was really exciting. I mean, you were just sort of on pins and needles, seeing what's going to happen. Will they get together? Will they catch up with each other? That kind of thing. So that was the first thing I wanted to say. It really flowed and it kept my attention. But okay, those mixed stairs and ramps, are they really called stramps? You guys use that term there.
We've seen them. We didn't make it up.
Okay.
It's kind of a nickname that's been applied to it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, and then I think the balance issues where Louise was talking about, but a lot of people have balance issues, especially because we have a more aging population. And, it's not just some people are losing vision, some people are losing hearing, and some people, their balance is going.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not, having balance issues is quite a common thing. So if you think about it, you're not really, getting into these kind of tour buses and doing these things. Even in a tour bus, can be really difficult and not very accessible. So just a comment there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rita.
Thanks, Rita. Okay. We have a hand from. Okay, this is where I need my glasses. Oh, it's Gail. Come on in, Gail.
Hi there.
Hey, Gail. Nice to hear from you.
I love the play and I really noticed the humor in it. So I had a question because there was dialogue humor and then there was also the action, like everyone bumping along in the bus on the cobblestones made me laugh out loud. And Tess's cane, I imagine the melee that must have been on the bus during that time. I was wondering, as writers, did you guys agree on the style of humor, or was that representing each of your own styles?
I think Amy and I share a sense of humor in many respects. So I think it came out of both of us and through a lot of discussion leading to agreement about how characters will respond in a moment. So yeah, very much a collaborative process to we knew we wanted to tell a funny story. We knew we wanted to make people laugh. There's a lot of stories about disability that are, justifiably sad or downers, but there's also so much vitality in the disability community and so much humor. So we wanted to reflect that. I think it comes naturally, I think, in terms of the way we also engage with each other, Amy. Do you agree?
When we were writing thinking that we were going to be on an actual bus and thinking about how the choreography around the cane, the ambush with the cane would work. Because you'd have to pull the bus over because you didn't want to really do that on a moving bus, and how I would dream about that, about where I would place my cane and how I could put it under, Hugh's chin and pin him against the wall. I just had so much fun with, can I pull it apart by the strings and do a nunchuck movement? And I would go to these absurd places about this ridiculous, campy, over outrageous, because you didn't want, you couldn't make it look realistic. So if you can't make it look realistic, you got to make it look campy, right? Because in my mind, it's I'm not a ninja, and it's gonna have to look sort of silly, unrealistic. But then when we were doing it in audio play, it was all going to be through sound, and so it was really just about the clinks against the wall and the verbal fighting that we were doing, and I'm glad you could hear it, that's what was going on, because at first I was like, nobody's gonna get what's happening, but I'm glad that came through. And the bumpy streets, I wasn't even thinking about that was an offer that first came, was resonated for me first when we were doing the table reads, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're on bumpy roads, we should really how would we talk when
how would we talk on a bumpy?
Yeah. And I tell you, that was the biggest exercise in I was exhausted because we rehearsed that over and over and over, and I just was shaking my body trying to talk, and it was so hard. I'm glad I don't have to do that again, but yeah, it was fun, but it was exhausting to do that. But thanks, Gail. That was really fun that you picked up on those things. We had a good time just trying to be yeah, we know this doesn't really sound like a Cobble Streets tone, but this is fun. Let's throw a little in there.
I loved it. It really worked. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad.
Thanks.
All right. And let's see. Nancy Gill. Nancy Gill has a hand. Come on in, Nancy. Let's give Nancy a moment to unmute. This always happens, Rena, when somebody's using their technology to unmute, and then I go, well, I'll ask a question while we're waiting, and then I ask and you start, and all of a sudden so it's, oh, can you hear me? Okay, well, we'll just go on through.
We'll roll with it.
We'll roll with it. Any favorite moments for you now that this is all done and wrapped and you're looking back?
For me?
For you, yeah.
Me? Well, I mentioned that one
Can
little.
you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
I told you what's gonna happen. Yeah, Nancy, we got you. We got you.
Right on. Okay, go ahead, Nancy.
Okay. Oh, I really loved it. Thank you for sharing this. I like it when you're yelling at the guy that was going upstairs or getting coffee and he shouldn't have been parking there, but you guys were just, I thought you guys were going to get them to get out of the way because you guys needed to put the bus there, to get going on the bus. And when you're doing the tour, were you standing on the, like standing and doing the tour, like guiding the tour guide?
Well, if it had been an actual, like if we were actually on a bus, there would have
You
been
were.
times that the actors would have been standing. But when this was recorded, everybody was seated in a studio.
Yeah.
So the effects were all added afterward.
Yeah, because when they took wanted to take your walker away, you're yelling. It's like people do that with my cane. I hate it. Just leave my cane alone. Let me walk. With my cane. Especially with a walker too, right? And how long did it take you guys to do this?
You mean to rehearse it and record it?
Yeah, to rehearse this. Yeah, it's wonderful.
We had I think just under a couple weeks, which was a great amount of time. It was terrific. That was a luxury. And then I think we had a total of 24 hours in the rehearsals, in the studio. And we had to, break it down hour to hour in terms of planning it efficiently and economically. So that came to, I think we worked like on a weekday night and then a full day Saturday, a full day Sunday. And then we got together again on like a Tuesday night and finished, captured whatever else was left. And then it was just a really intense process of editing. And that was Malcolm Dow and I working very closely together. I mean, he, brilliant technical skills, but he's also got such great impulses and, intuition, instincts for humor, for comedy, for bringing out the story, for little, bumps at the end of the scene where we would use, let's say, a bus honking, right? So yeah, that was frankly the most intense period for me. I don't even remember how long. We just kind of like fell into it and didn't stop until we were done.
Yeah, I know. I like the idea when the part when the girl was asking her the question, what about her walker, and it's like when someone says, "Oh, why do you have glasses on when I thought you said you're blind?" It's just like it's question. People are going to ask questions too, and when you're in a hurry, you just want to go. But at least she explained what was wrong, right? It was good. You guys were doing excellent. I like it.
Thanks, Nancy.
Hope you guys can do this again.
Well, you can find it on either the Realwheels website or on the VocalEye YouTube channel. So you can find it again.
If you listen to it on, I mean, it's available, I think, on any podcast platform.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I know on Apple you can leave a review, but please feel free to share it on any one of the platforms that are comfortable to you.
Will you do another one pretty soon again?
Are we writing another one, Rena?
No, I love it.
Thank you.
Christmas
are you funding it, Nancy?
Christmas one.
Somebody had suggested, because it takes place on a bus and in a city, that it would be transferable to other cities if you want to. Every city has its own obstacles and challenges in terms of accessibility, or that it could be a series. But frankly, we have no plans. I mean, these are lovely suggestions to hear, but we have no plans currently to continue with it, at least not now. But thanks. It's lovely to hear.
For a rest.
It's lovely to leave them wanting more.
Awesome. All right, and we have another hand. Wow. Okay. Here we go. This is going to be from Laura McEnroth, and I think we'll make this the last hand for tonight in terms of questions, unless there's a burning one. But let's come in with Laura McEnroth, who also is a friend of Realwheels and Rena.
Can you hear me okay, ladies?
Yes, indeed.
Fantastic. Hello, Amy. Hello, Rena. So amazing to hear the play. Thank you for letting me know, Amy, last month that today was the day. And I think I got in there right at the beginning, 7:01, with you talking and whatever. So I loved it. I was laughing. I was practically crying when the dog licked your hand. Amy, I know how much you actually are not a fan of dogs licking hands and how you feel
It's
about
because
that.
I'm allergic, that's all.
Oh yeah. So I was like, oh, and you're like, is this? I'm like, it's the dog. The dog. He bought you. David's around the corner. I'm yelling out, and of course, I'm sure as most people listening in understand, Amy and I are really good friends. We are very similar in nature. So when Amy was on or Tess, I should say, was on the bus, and I'm like, oh no, of course, you got on the wrong damn bus. I'm like, and you got to go meet Dave, and it's not going to get there. And as soon as he said, what? Stanley Park? I started screaming, no, the tour bus can't go. Don't you know they're trying to change the Stanley Park thing and buses can't go in there and you're on the wrong damn bus. You need to meet Dave. Love awaits. I really consider this less as an advocacy story as this is a love story. This is a love story with advocacy for transportation and everything that people with disabilities do and trying to find love because Lord knows it's a very hard road. Let's put it that way. So I really love the actual story about her trying to meet Dave. And I at some point I was right there with you as Tess going, okay, now is the time you need to throw down, Tess, come on. Where are you starting to threaten, the guide, okay? And get the other lady on board with you and get the people in the back to start chanting. And I was so there screaming things at this screen that I was very happy and starting to cry when you started to throw your shit down. And I was like, yes. So that was fantastic. I was so happy to see that. And then the bus stopped. And then I laughed my ass off some more about the stramps or whatever. I know exactly what you're talking about. I have been in many meetings about those things. And I do believe when I still had a bit of my sight and was driving, I want to say they are also at the UBC bookstore. And I remember bitching about them there or something. So it is a thing. It was probably the same architect, to be honest. They are a thing. And I hate them as well, and they are so dangerous. So I love how you wrote that in, and with all the other stuff that happens around our city. So overall, 10 out of 10 or 1,000% or however you want to, 2 thumbs up. And I'm just so happy and proud of the job that both you and all of your team did to make this work. And so glad that you're making it available online. And I really hope that it can get the eyes on it, let's call it, quote unquote, or the views, let's say, to spread that word around about all the different themes you've got here.
Well, lots of people, Laura. You can spread it around.
I will help you. I will help you, ladies.
Laura,
I
thank you.
Will.
Great to hear. Great to hear those comments from you. Really, really appreciate it. And I tell you, for me, like it fills me with a lot of pride to have this be my final project with Realwheels. And you were a big part of my experience at Realwheels too, Laura. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, friends, that's Disability Tour Bus. Rena, any last thoughts or things you want to share about your experience, your time, I just loved having you in the space tonight, but
thank you. It's been a joy to be here. And I love that this group is meeting in this space and listening to plays. I think it's fabulous, and what a lovely group. And you're all very, very thoughtful and generous with your comments, very sweet. And it really does feel like what we wrote resonated and that you enjoyed it. And so what better words can writers and directors hear? So I feel I'm really glad. I'm just really glad. Thank you so much.
What's next for you? Any projects that are coming up that you want to share with us?
I'm working on a few projects, but they're not theater projects right now. So I'm taking just a wee break, but I still identify as an independent theater artist and manager. So we'll see what happens in future, but working on some other projects right now.
You never know, then you might be back in this space at some time with some other theater thing that could be shared.
I'm open to it. We had a blast on this one. So
we had a blast. And those, I think the energy of those memories will fuel us for some time. The future is a big place, so you just never know what's gonna happen in it.
Oh, good.
I love this project, so thank you for inviting me in and for sharing it with me, and I had a good time. Hearts.
we had, I mean, I think it's very special to have worked together and created something like this after working together and then forming a friendship. So yeah, it's been pretty special.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. Well, my friend, thank you for joining us in the space tonight. It's really great that you've set some time aside, because I know that you're recovering from COVID. So I want you to go and have some self-care, put yourself to bed early-ish, and just, take care of yourself, because that's an important thing to do. So thank you for joining us.
I will sign off now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night, Rena.
Have a good night. Bye for now. Good night, everybody.
Night.
VocalEye, vocaleye.ca. Special thanks to our funders, the Canada Council for the Arts, the British Columbia Arts Council, the Province of British Columbia, and the City of Vancouver.